Hello, English 221. This is your mini lecture on analyzing an example of BS that you might find online or somewhere else. So, this claim was made by Occupy Democrats. Says Rep. Matt Gaetz and Senator Ted Cruz took 2 weeks paid sick leave to self-quarantine. Gaetz, quote, voted in 2013 to make it illegal for any city in Florida to enact paid sick leave. And Cruz voted in 2015 in the U.S. Senate against paid sick leave. So there's a picture. And then if your time is short, you can see the PolitiFact author is Amy Sherman. If your time is short, Gaetz and Cruz both placed themselves in self-quarantine after coming in contact with a person who tested positive for the coronavirus at a conservative political conference. As a Florida state representative, Gaetz voted for a 2013 bill to ban cities from requiring employers to offer paid sick leave, and Cruz voted against them in the U.S. Senate in 2015 that would have provided 7 days paid sick leave. And we won't read the whole article, but let's go down to the bottom, because they always say our ruling. A Facebook post by Occupy Democrats said Gaetz and Cruz took 2 weeks paid sick leave to self-quarantine. Gaetz, quote, voted in 2013 to make it illegal for any city in Florida to enact paid sick leave, and Cruz, quote, voted in 2015 in the U.S. Senate against paid sick leave. The post correctly notes that Gaetz and Cruz have voted against paid sick leave, but it goes wrong in saying that the two men are on paid sick leave now. They're actually working from home, and their positions give them that discretion. However, it's important to note that they can't vote remotely on matters before Congress. The claim is partially accurate, but leaves out important context. We rate it half true. Okay. So, to start our analysis, to me, it looks like the immediate context, notice the date, March 12, so that's really recent. To me, it looks like the immediate context is the coronavirus and how people who have been exposed to it might self-quarantine or hole up and stay away from other people in order to avoid infecting others. So that's the immediate context. But the larger controversial issue is whether people should get paid sick leave. And it seems that Cruz and Gaetz are against paid sick leave. And Occupy Democrats, being a liberal group, is, I assume, in favor of paid sick leave. So I think the implied claim is that we should have paid sick leave, or the implied claim is that these two Republican senators are hypocrites and should not be trusted. Looking at who made this statement, it's a liberal group called Occupy Democrats, and if you right-click on the title, you can find Occupy Democrats, a little description. You can find a link to their website, so you can go to that. You can see their fact-check record, which doesn't look very good. However, they haven't been checked that many times, so it's possible that they're more reliable. If you were writing your essay about this, you would definitely find out what kind of things Occupy Democrats tends to say, because that will give you a sense for where they're coming from. Back to our article, oftentimes they will show you a link to the post. It says that the Facebook post was deleted in the article, but it was also posted elsewhere. So let's go and look. So notice it was posted also by someone called Blue Dam Warriors. Looks like a liberal or democratic Facebook page of some sort. And notice that it's been flagged as including partly false information. so you can see what it looks like. So back to the original article. Let's see. How would confirmation bias be at play for the audience who believed it? Well, basically, Occupy Democrats is claiming that these two Republican senators are hypocritical, and that they're wrong to oppose paid sick leave. So probably confirmation bias would be for the audience that believed it. Probably the audience that believed it would be liberals or Democrats or members of this Occupy Democrats group. And this would confirm their bias that Republicans are anti-worker because they're opposed to paid sick leave. It might also confirm their bias that Republicans are hypocritical or not trustworthy in some way. Referring to Law's article on anecdotes, this is based on an anecdote. The anecdote is that these two guys took, left Congress to be in quarantine. So that's the little story, and it's making an inference about them based on that anecdote. I think it's different from the examples in the Stephen Law article, but it is a case of an anecdote and someone making an inference based on it. You might have noticed that I'm looking at the questions that are in your Analyze BS example instructions. So question E is, does the falsehood exhibit the outrage style? So you have your outrage article in handout number 2. It's the article by Berry and Soberage. And this is an excerpt from their book, The Outrage Industry. And this is the introduction to their book that you read. And I hope you marked the definition of outrage media that's at the top of page 7 in the excerpt. So in Berry and Soberage, if you go to the top of page 7, you might hit pause now to go to it. If you look at the top of page 7, you have a definition of outrage media. Outrage discourse involves efforts to provoke emotional responses from the audience through the use of overgeneralization, sensationalism, misleading or patently inaccurate information, ad hominem attacks, and belittling ridicule of opponents. So there's your definition. And if you flip ahead in the outrage industry excerpt to the end, it skips ahead to the end of the book where they have some definitions and they have some charts with lists of programs that they studied. But if you go all the way to page 245 in Berry and Soberage, you'll find the qualities of outrage media that they looked for. They looked for insulting language, name calling, emotional display, emotional language, verbal fighting and sparring, character assassination, misrepresentative exaggeration, mockery, conflagration, ideologically extremizing language, slippery slope, which of course is one of our fallacies, belittling, and obscene language. So I think this example, Occupy Democrats is trying to suggest that Getz and Cruz are hypocritical because they oppose paid sick leave for workers, but they took paid sick leave themselves. So I think this is a kind of character assassination, trying to show that they're hypocrites. It also links really well with the definition of mockery on page 247. Mockery is about trying to make people look bad, trying to make people look foolish, hypocritical, deceitful, or believers. So in this case, it's mockery because it's trying to make these two senators look hypocritical. So for that reason, this post by Occupy Democrats does count as an example of the outrage style of media. Okay, next question. Is internet, social media, or other technology a factor in this case? Well, I believe this Occupy Democrats is some sort of group, and I would have to look them up to find more. But they posted on Facebook. So this is an example of social media. It's an example of the way that ideas can be spread around um, from person to person in social media. Probably the people who read it are people who have liked the Occupy Democrats Facebook page. So anyone who's liked that page probably saw this example. Although it also appeared on the as posted by Blue Dem Warriors. So anyone who follows the Blue Dem Warriors Facebook group or whoever they are also saw this falsehood. Probably it was being passed around within a kind of liberal echo chamber where people generally don't trust the Republicans and don't trust conservatives. And there was some sort of algorithm in Facebook that caused it to pop up for people. And I wonder how many people actually saw it. Let's see. It does seem like the Blue Dem Warriors version got 1.9 thousand posts, 3.2 thousand shares, 192 comments. So you can investigate that kind of thing. And what logical fallacy is committed? This is an example of an ad hominem fallacy. Because really what it's doing is that it's focusing on the personal character of Senators Getz and Cruz instead of whatever arguments they might have about paid sick leave. Maybe these guys both had arguments against paid sick leave, but instead of paying attention to their arguments, this post just tries to make them look bad personally, which is an ad hominem fallacy. It's not a straw man fallacy because it doesn't misrepresent their views on paid sick leave. It does seem to be true that they're opposed to paid sick leave. Although these guys might be in favor of paid sick leave during the coronavirus, we don't really know. You would have to research that aspect of it. Okay, that is all I have to say about this example. Your next move will be to go back to the analyze BS example instructions and look. You'll be looking at another PolitiFact article about a different topic, and you'll be participating in a discussion board about that one. Thanks.